The whole of Big Pink, and perhaps the best of what the band has had to say over the years, seems to dovetail into those modest lines. The man who lives them feels like part of the crowd, and he is only too happy to fade into it. But he recognizes himself in everyone he meets, and so he is drawn out of himself and into the world. He takes his vitality from that paradox. To survive it, he can't afford to be anyone's fool to make it worth his considerable trouble. He needs a talent for friendship that is as deep as it is broad. Save your neck or save your brother, he shouts a couple of years later in The Shape I'm In, just out of jail and searching for his woman. Looks like it's one or the other. But it's one more false choice, one more denial of the fraternity he feels in spite of himself. And he can't rest with it. Maybe that's why he sounds so desperate, even running for his life. His mind is on the people he leaves behind. Now, taken all at once, this is a remarkable figure, the band's recreation of an American original, The Democratic Man. Trapped against his better judgment in a hilarious and sacrificed recreation of a very old American idea, this is a joint stock world. A joint stock world is open to devils and angels alike. All barriers are betrayals, and the man who sees only himself sees nothing at all. This is the possibility the band pursue through the tangles of the country itself. The extraordinary diversity of the place and the claim of every man and woman to do just as they please make a joint stock America both necessary and hard to find. The man who looks for it has a right to be worried. America has a lot of mottos, common slogans, because they sum up how individuals act among themselves. Quote, "We must all hang together or we shall all hang separately," end of quote, is a sentimental favorite. But the edge goes to, quote, "Don't tread on me," end of quote, which is to say that the man who wants to hang together had best take care not to give the good people he meets an excuse to string him up. America, as the quester finds it in his songs, is not a very friendly place. It is suspicious of itself. Most people no longer even know that they have brothers to save, and if they do, quote, "Brother," end of quote, means men, but not women. The young, but not the old. Blues singers, but not country singers. Northerners, but not Southerners. Whites, but not blacks. Or a general vice versa. The man who tells this story becomes who he is, the one who reaches out because he responds so deeply to the yearning for unity and affection that these facts hide. Perhaps because he comes from outside. He can see the country whole, just as those who have always lived there see it only in pieces. His job, as in The Weight, no longer a matter of isolated predicament, but of vocation, is to drag that affection out into the open, even if it comes hard, as his did. And the song for that is We Can Talk About It Now, a wonderful Richard Manuel tune that sounds like the best merry-go-round in the world, full of exultation, exhortation, smiles, and complaints. It is the song of a man who has gone far enough to have become a part of what he sings about. It's safe now, he says, to take a backward glance. Quote, "It seems to me we've been holding something underneath our tongues. I'm afraid if you ever got a pat on the back, it would likely burst your lungs. Whoa, stop me if I should sound kind of down in the mouth. But I'd rather be burned in Canada than to freeze here in the South." If his quest has taught him anything, it is that if he wants to find a home in this country, he will have to make it himself, and that means breaking through to the warmth others hide, just as Lonesome Susie broke through to him. The pure joy of the music unveils the depth of emotion that's his to win, and that must have been the treasure he was after from the beginning, whether he knew it or not. He had to learn, in John Barth's line, that the key to the treasure is the treasure, that to be free is not to get what you want or to settle for what you've got, but to begin to know what you want and to feel strong enough to go after it. So now, out of the claustrophobia of Big Pink, he has a glimpse of what he wants. For a moment, to say yes is to say everything. Quote, We can talk about it now. It's the same old riddle. Always starts from the Quote, we can talk about it now. It's the same old riddle. Always starts from the middle. I'd fix it, but I don't know how. Well, we could try to reason, but you might think it's treason. One voice for all, echoing around the hall, echoing around the hall. The song is loose and rangy, and the song has plenty of room in it, room for doubt, and room for doubt to turn into love without any explanation at all. Room for arguments interrupted by a bottle. Room for friends and strangers, room for escape, and room for homecoming. For its moment, the song, a free and friendly conversation between the men and the band and anyone who might care to listen, is that one voice. The song creates out of words and music a big, open, undeniable image of what the country could sound like at its best, of what it could feel like. One good burst of rock and roll blows the trail clean, and the people our man has seen and the places he has been look brand new. Don't you see, he shouts, in an extraordinary flash of vision that seems to reveal the secret America holds, even as it hints at deeper secrets. There's no need to slave. The whip, he sings, is in the grave.